Welcome to another edition of the Dental Today podcast. Thank you for stopping by. This is brought to you by labmediatv. My name is Hezekiah Morales, and here we go. Remember to follow us on social media at labmediatv. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Dental Today podcast. My name is Hezekiah Morales, and today we have another guest, or a guest who was on the first season. We brought him on the show and we asked him about his process, his past, how he became a dental technician and went from working at a garage into now speaking for Noritake. He was recently featured in West Palm Beach at the Zahn Expo. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back Mr. Edgar Munoz. Edgar, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. It's good. I'm always happy to be here.
It's always good to have you. How's your new year shaping up so far?
Man, it started fast, and it's not slowing down, so it's a good thing. Literally, we just got off the lab right now. Got out of the lab, it was 7:30ish, somewhere around there. So it's a blessing to have work, and it's good. I'm happy.
So good to hear that. So good to hear it. We're excited to be able to hear all these things from all around. And we recently saw each other here as I just mentioned, at the Zahn Expo here in West Palm Beach. You spoke out there for Noritake. How was that?
Oh, man, it was fun. Weather was good. Everything was good. The setup they did was awesome as well. And we met some new people that we'd never met before. And it was totally awesome, man. I really loved that area as well.
Yeah, then we actually hit the beach after a couple of hours on Saturday, and I did not know that you were a drone aficionado, but apparently you're now you have a YouTube channel dedicated to the shots that you get whenever you travel. What are you going to do with this? Is this a new hobby that you're picking up, or you just did it that one time, or what's the deal with that?
No, so I've been flying drones for a couple of years now, but as I've been doing it, I get some requests if people want to see more or they want me to post a video. So I was posting it on Facebook, but on Facebook they only let you post, I think it's like a 1080p or something. They won't go 4K. So what I did was I went to YouTube and we started to learn the process of posting on there and trying to build a channel up there. So we started at 0 people. We'll see what we can do on this 2020. Like I said, it's a hobby. It's something just to take stress off. That's cool.
And so you're going to be in Chicago in February. We're going to be in Chicago in February. It's, again, LMT Lab Day. It's the biggest trade show for the dental laboratory technology aspect of the business. You're going to be out there with the Zahn. But before February, do you have any other engagements going on this month of January, maybe the beginning of next month as well?
Yeah, we do. We started this year off. So we got some custom staining trips we have to do out of state, and then a couple of teaching things I'm doing extra on the side, and and then from there we go to Chicago, and then we got a couple more that are coming up as well.
That's exciting. And you won't only be at the Zahn booth, and you're going to be working with Noritake at the Zahn booth. Am I correct?
Yeah. We'll be at the Zahn ballroom, and then we'll be at the Noritake booth downstairs where all the vendors are. And then on Saturday, we'll be at the McCormick Dentist finishing their convention. So we'll be there demoing some of the techniques for them since they're going digital, how to stain and glaze a little bit faster and make it look nicer, and just talking to these doctors, educating them on what Katana can do for them. Again, they have the block, which is the STML block, and a lot of them don't know we have other pucks in the lab, different strengths, different multi-layer translucencies. So that's what we go in there. We educate these doctors.
That's amazing that we're seeing this relationship grow between dental technicians and doctors on another level, really.
Oh yeah.
That you and I we spoke a while back about you taking time to really explain and go through your process when it comes to these staining and glazing and these simple processes that a doctor can have done in their laboratory. But there is also another side to this. There are some dental technicians that aren't for that because they believe that that can minimize the opportunity for work for them. Yet your point of view, as I understood it, was that you've been having success in terms of gaining more trust from the doctor and even improving your relationship and even not losing accounts but gaining accounts. Can you touch a little bit on that? How is that working for you?
Yeah, man, it's as we all know, the industry is changing, and so that's what I'm trying to do is just keep up with these changes. Plus, I love technology, so what I'm doing is, I know I'm losing some accounts on single units, especially now that they're getting their own milling machines and sintering ovens. And I mean, some of these sinterings are even amazing. They're, 30 minutes, 20 minutes for a sintering, which we before used to take 10-hour sintering cycles. So again, they're doing their single units, and in return, I'm teaching them how to stain and glaze, how to finish these restoration a little bit more natural. And again, in return, what they're doing is I'm seeing that they're getting a lot more confident in prepping bigger cases and doing implants. And in return, I'm getting those big cases. So it's there was a fight there in the single units where it's not worth it for me to do single units anymore. So again, I tell these doctors, look, I want you to do single units, and then we do the complicated cases for you.
That's very interesting. Do you believe there is still a market for these single units?
Yeah, they're always going to be, because some doctors aren't, they don't want to invest a couple of $100,000 in equipment. So there's always going to be a market there. I think that the prices are going lower, but it's depending on your laboratory, on your niche. So I've seen people have a niche of single units, and they're getting a good amount of money for them. So again, it's not going to die 100%, but it is changing to a good percentage that it's probably not worth it anymore.
And then we also, as you mentioned before, there are a lot of doctors that are purchasing their own equipment, their own milling equipment, and
yeah, exactly.
The turnaround has come down so much. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, they can put it in one day, in a couple of hours.
So even on the katana side, so we've with our material, the block, the zirconia, from start to finish, we say 2 hours is what, between the prepping, the designing, the milling, and the sintering. So start to finish, 2 hours. So a patient get prepped, go eat and get something to eat, quick buy, or take a rest, and then come back in 2 hours and it's ready to go in the mouth. And in the past, we've seen these restorations not look so great. So that's why I'm trying to help these doctors, again, educating them and making these look, like they're coming out of the laboratory. Again, it's something they're going to do anyways. And so we need to find another angle to have these doctors as a clients instead of losing them. So I think a lot of times we give up, and we don't want to, we don't want to do anything about it, and we lose these doctors. But they're not going anywhere. I don't care what any doctor says. You're not going to get rid of a dental technician. We're always going to be there, and they're going to need our help. So we got to be there.
Right. I agree with that. I definitely believe that the dental technician is evolving, has always evolved, and is continuing to evolve into that technological aspect of the business, the digital dentistry. However, I do believe that a lot of the fundamental instruction that was given many, many years ago and has been passed down, and the developments and everything are still very, very relevant to this day. And I believe also that there is a need for the new generation of dental technicians. And when I mean new generation, I'm talking about new technicians, which there aren't a lot, right? We definitely know that. But those young people that are getting into technology and learning how to use softwares, they need these fundamentals so that they can effectively do their work. What has been your experience with new technicians? Or when I mean by new technicians, is somebody that's been in the industry for a very little time and all they know is digital.
Yeah, like again, again, we talk a lot about digital and how it's evolving, but again, our hands are, what I've seen with the new guys is they come in knowing, they get taught, how to scan and get a scanned impression and make a restoration using a library. The problem is when those systems go down, they don't know what they're doing anymore. It's like they just don't know what to do, how to act. So they never learned how to pour a model. They never knew how to prep, get the impression ready for pouring a model, getting the model ready, and so on and so on. So, again, I think that was a blessing for me. I came in within the times where everybody was doing handmade. And so, I've been blessed to be able to meet some of these big, technicians that are way, way better than me. And, I've learned and I was a sponge the last 10 years. So I'm able to do it handmade if I have to, 100%, or digital 100%. Now I'm using probably 50-50 of technology and then 50% of my hands to finish the restorations. But I think that's the lack of the knowledge of occlusion. I mean, some of these guys are just designing stuff without thinking of occlusion, excursion, movement. They're forgetting about these basics. And I do agree with that's one of the bad negative things about it. But at the same time, I'm tech savvy, so I've used it as a positive tool on my side. It's only helped my lab be faster. Again, if you're scanning correctly, it should be a lot more accurate than us pouring models. Again, in the model stone, there is shrinkage, there's expansion, there's so many variables. You didn't add water correctly. So digital, I mean, it is accurate, it's very accurate, but you have to know the basics. You have to know, a lot of these guys have never even been in the laboratory getting dirty. So again, we can't forget those old, what we say old techniques, but that's what is the foundation of a dental technician.
And very relevant, still to this day. Very
Yes.
relevant. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
You bring that up.
These guys that are doing it all handmade, they're the most beautiful restorations, But again, technology's coming, and what are they going to do when everybody's using digital scanners inside the clinician's office? They got to learn what's going on as well, because that's just like the new side of the lab business. So again, even on digital, sometimes we 3D print a model and we still got to do a refractory. So you got to know how to cut the 3D impression and how to base it and how to do everything and process it. So again, we got to remember those basic foundation techniques that we used to do.
Very interesting. I definitely agree with that very much. I was speaking to a mutual friend of ours, Mr. Bart Cawthorn, who's on the board of the FDLA, and he was sharing with me that he was teaching a course. And there was a large majority of the people that he was teaching that had never they had no idea.
Yeah, they had no idea.
It's very interesting, very, very interesting to see how this shift within the digital dentistry, let's call it, or technology within dentistry is changing so fast.
It is
that I believe it may be even hard or difficult or complex for the complete shift to happen, and it's all about growing pains right now. We're at a very exciting time because, as you shared before, technology gives the smaller lab the ability to compete with the bigger labs. What has been your experience with technology? How has that helped you being a small lab in comparison to the larger labs, now being able to use a milling unit and all these other tools available to you?
Yeah, so on mine, it's been a positive thing. Again, I started being a technician 19 years ago, but my laboratory is about 5 years old. So I started literally, again, same story, $700, porcelain oven. 5 years later, technology has helped me get, as far as I have, and now we have, scanners and mills in the lab, but there is a pain to going from hands, because I was used to doing everything by hand and going digital. Luckily, I love technology. I mean, you see me, everything that I use, drones and everything. But there is there is some things that are not there yet. Like I did struggle like inlays and onlays. I was 3D printing these models and my inlays and onlays weren't fitting. There were some adjustments you have to make. No matter how accurate these printers are, they don't get undercuts or they're not printing exactly to what you need. So there were some changes, there were some pains that we had to make changes, and but now everything's rolling good, and it's made me faster. I now don't have to, before I was outsourcing maybe 6,000 to 10,000 a month on copings and frameworks. So,
Wow.
And I was under, their time frame, their prices, and if they wanted to do it for me or not. So, but when the equipment went down in price, because before mills were a couple $100,000, and now we're seeing mills 20,000, 30,000, $50,000 mills that are 5-axis mills, and they're very good mills for. So it's even the playing field for us smaller labs, 1-man lab, 2-man labs. We're not at some other big labs again time frame or bullying us. So now it's easier for us to buy this equipment and do it ourselves. It's made me faster. There's accuracies in some places. So it's been a positive change for me. But I mean, it wasn't easy. And now that's why I'm here trying to teach people and trying to help them out to anything that I can.
So one of the things that is very interesting when I speak with you is you have been a dental technician for 19 years.
Yes.
However, you weren't in the position that you're in. You haven't been rather in the position that you're in now, speaking for Noritake and being at the Zon Expo and people coming and asking you questions and you teaching people and possibly even correcting certain misconceptions about a process or a technique or whatever it is. It hasn't always been like that for you. So when was it technology, or what was it that took you from being a dental technician that was just doing what he was doing, the simple work, let's call it, just the day in, day out, and now you're teaching people. Now they're asking you to come in and speak at different places and share that secret or that technology, or rather the use of the technology that's giving you the results that you're getting?
Well, I mean, yeah, again, it wasn't all like this, but I think I spent most of my time being a sponge. Again, I came from a different background of industry before this. I played competitive baseball, and then I was doing real estate on the side, or I even worked, at Best Buy as an install technology. So I was installing, equipment. So when I got into the dental field, I was way behind. I was already, in my 20s. So I had to learn quickly. I had to adapt. I really liked it. When I touched ceramic the first time, I was just like, this is it. This is what I want to do. But I knew that I was way behind. There's guys that were amazing and still are. They're way ahead of the game. I'm still behind, so I'm still even playing catch up. But I think what it was I was just blessed to meet some of these great techs and sponge and learn from them. Whether there's one thing from each guy, and I've managed to kind of make my own style, because we all have our own style. And the only reason why I started teaching or speaking was I got an opportunity from Noritake with Larry Zeno, and I was asked to go to Puerto Rico and talk to a couple. It was tons of doctors there actually that showed up, and I saw that there was a lack of like we're still not sharing. And the first thing they told me is like, why are you sharing all this info with us? I mean, most of the time everybody's hiding their techniques, and I told them, look, I came the same way, and I was taught everything that I know. So now I'm trying to teach it back to everybody as well. It's like giving it back to people. Again, if I was to disappear or retire from this industry or something happened and I didn't teach anybody, what's the good of it? We got to give back. There's more than enough work out here, but there was no secret. It was hard work to get here. It's sleepless nights. Sometimes I was getting 2 hours of sleep. Learning. I was, whether I was in the garage working or I was learning, I was reading books, I was, teaching myself. There's, I'm even in ExoCAD, I learned by myself. Just I just bought it and I started learning it. And then, just recently, I think it was like 2 years ago, a year ago, I went just to California to one of their ExoCAD courses. But, I knew it all really. But again, it's been all trial and error, sponging off other technicians, learning from them. And that's how I really got to this. But again, there was no secret, no nothing. It just happened. I think things happen for a reason, and now I'm out here just trying to teach everybody as much as I know.
Absolutely. I definitely appreciate every time I hear a dental technician that has that passion to give back, really, and to share the different experiences that definitely render that type of result, especially seeing gentlemen as yourself. And I had the opportunity a year ago. We went to Dominican Republic. Lab Media TV went to Dominican Republic, and we set up an event at the Catholic University of Santo Domingo, and we took a great dental technician by the name of John Wesley McMillan, Spitfire. I love that guy, and I remember this guy. He just shared that, and it's a wonderful thing to see dental technicians that have traveled, that have brought back that information, and share it and make it available for people to grow, because it's about growing. Again, like you mentioned, and I agree with that. Everything is changing. Technology is leading different changes or inducing different changes, bringing different changes, and a lot of change. And if there are certain things that I'm sure you would have learned, let's say 10 years ago, you would be in another situation today, right? Yeah. But it's a progression of learning. That's very exciting. Now, for the rest of the year, what do you have planned for the rest of the year? What are you going to be doing?
I haven't, really looked too far of the schedule. I know there's stuff lined up already through the year. But mainly, again, I'm kind of restructuring my laboratory as I'm able to now, as I've just grown a little bit too fast. So I'm working on that right now. I grabbed a little bit too much sometimes. I thought I could do it. I was saying yes to everybody. So I'm kind of working on that right now, is just restructuring and just really finding my niche that I would like to do. I was kind of all over the place this last year, really, where I was doing a little bit of everything. And so I've kind of found the things that I really like. Like I love doing implant dentistry, restorations, and I'm loving that area right now. And then like single unit anteriors, I'm loving just to layer, and I want to enjoy that again. So I'm kind of restructuring things, getting rid of some things, and just kind of fixing that. Then we'll be teaching again all through the year. Things just come up last minute as well. So I'm going to start being a little bit more active, also posting of where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing. Again, I'm not the best technician, but with the stuff that I know, I'm willing to share with anybody. So if anybody has questions, they can always ask me. I'm always here. You don't need to go to a course to ask me. So, because I know there's younger guys coming behind me, and I remember when I was coming behind, and I used to look up to technicians, and at that time they weren't sharing as much. It was I don't know. Most of the time, you would ask a technician when I started, and they were hiding. I started a big production lab, so everybody was trying to fight for that extra 10 cent raise. So nobody was sharing their technique. So, now I'm able to, so I'm going to do it. But that's our main goal this year. There's nothing really big that I have yet. I actually need to sit down and probably look at the vision board again and redo that vision board, because it's in the back. I actually just cleared it out. You can see it in the background. It's empty, like literally empty. I just took everything off. So we're gonna sit down and do that this couple of days.
And you mentioned this whole thing with the 10-cent raise and everything. Dental technician or dental laboratory professionals, dental technician professionals are definitely professionals.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a dental technician is a professional. Of course, we all agree that there are different degrees, right, to the
Oh, yeah.
level of results that are achieved or rendered. But however, I do believe that the dental technician is a dental professional. Um, what took you from, fighting for that, let's say that 10 cents raise, as you mentioned a second ago, and now where you're owning your own lab, and you're having these types of conversations with doctors? What took you there?
Yeah, man, it was a big change. I was for the first 10 years or so, I was just in production labs, and I had never seen the other side of things, like how to layer and how to do these beautiful restorations. I was just we were production work, so we had to do 20 units build up, 20 units contour, and that's all I knew. And then until one day, through Facebook, I started seeing the DTG group, which was Von Groh. I don't know who the actual real creators were. I know Von Groh and Bill Maris, and there's a couple other technicians. They were sharing. They were showing these awesome restorations. So that opened my eyes. I was like, whoa, there's like this whole new world out there. And so I started trying to layer things in the production lab, and it didn't work out. Because I mean, you totally see, you're like, they were wowing on the restorations, but I was only making like 2 or 3 of them when I was supposed to be making 20. So it didn't work out, and I literally got fired from doing that. And I had never been fired. Their excuse was like I was making them too nice and taking too long. So I was kind of lost, but I was seeing everybody. These guys were like had one-man labs and everything. So my wife was pregnant at the time. The last time that happened, and I was my back was on the wall, and I was like, man, I don't want to go back to that. I actually went to this local lab, man. It starts with the G. So, and they're like maybe a 60 to 80 man lab, and they stuffed my desk with, I'm serious, like with 60 pans. And like I worked maybe like 2 hours. I was like, well, I'm just gonna try this. And then I asked them to go to the bathroom, and like I ran out. Like I didn't come back. I just ran out of the lab. I acted like I was going to the bathroom, and I just disappeared. I was like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. But that really that hit me right there. I was like, I'm not going back to that. So that's how I started the lab. I was like, look, I'll just start doing piecework. And that's how I started. Just like I bought this furnace, and then man, dude, it brings back so many memories. This is probably another different podcast that we can do, but man, I didn't have anything. All I had was a porcelain furnace and this old brush that I had. And I had seen these brushes from like MPF, but at the time I couldn't afford them. They're like $100, right? And so I had this old brush. I had things that I wanted, but I couldn't get. And it had samples of porcelain. So that's how I started. And so I was doing like piecework, which was you get work from other labs, and you do like a buildup, like a two like dent enamel buildup, simple. And that would be like, say, $10 to $20, whatever I was charging at the time. And then contour is another $10, $20. So that's what I was doing for the labs, and I was getting a lot of work. And then later I started buying a little bit. But man, it's been a long journey. It wasn't easy, and it was just, like I said, it's been hard work to get here. But it's that's how I started the lab. It really wasn't because I just had to. I was just put in that position. Either I could have just sit there and cried about it, or again, I just said, look, I'm selling this, and this, and we're going to start this journey. And that's how it happened.
And who, how, or what, when, where, who, how, your first brush, nice, decent brush.
Dude, man, that the one guy I got to always give thanks to, because he gave me a big push. He doesn't know how much he gave me just confidence. And so it was George Paps from MPF is at the time. I don't know how we started talking. I think I was just telling him how awesome his brushes were. Then I seen him one day, and the first lab day I ever attended, dude, I barely got there. Like literally, I scrapped up enough money just to get the plane ticket, my hotel, and everything. And my goal was like I was gonna go see these great technicians, and I did. I was able to see a bunch of them, and then I hit at the time it was George Paps, and they were kind of meshed with Harvest Dental, and So I started talking to Sasha and George gave me one of these brushes, man, and just these MPF little brushes here. And he's like, try it out. It's like, how much do I owe? He's like, don't worry, just try it out. And, somebody like me that got that, I went straight home and started using that thing. I still have my old, like, things like 17, 18-year-old brush, but now I use these MPFs, and I've been blessed now to be able to get these. And George has, really, really also given me so much support. And I got to give a big thanks to him, because he's one of the ones that really helped me out, and he does know how much it really, really helped me out. But we're going to do a little bit of some product show here soon. I'm going to do some videos, because we got some stuff here that I haven't been able to use this year that I got. There's some instruments from MPF. Some just a new palette tray, some texture paint as well, and some MPF rainbow drops, which everybody knows I use that a lot. I use food coloring now, but now I got these rainbow drops, so we'll use these. These are just additive colors that you add into the porcelain, and you're able to see what you're layering and how much you're layering. So again, yeah, MPF, man, they're awesome. They're great. George is a cool guy.
Yeah, and that's amazing how you shared how something that maybe wasn't a big deal definitely made a big deal of an impact in your life. I used to be a musician, and I remember when I had a new snare. I started on the drums, and then I moved on to other instruments. But I remember when I got a brand new snare, right? After playing on this old beat up snare, right? And you put a new skin on it, and you hear it sound differently, and it inspires you. Oh, and I assume that it would be the exact same, if not similar, to you as a gentleman who, you looking at where you were coming from, and you were using this brush that was an old brush, and then you get the opportunity to use an MPF brush, which obviously, we know the construct is a phenomenal construct, very ergonomic. The humidity it holds and all that. It's a phenomenal tool. I'm sure it also brought out a different element in you.
Yeah, because it gives you confidence. You're like, the big guys are using it. At the end, it's not really the brush, but you give a kid confidence. And I tell a lot of these companies that I meet, I'm like, sometimes we're giving these things to technicians maybe that are into their career. They might not really even appreciate it. But this dude, George, took a chance and gave me something, that I was like, wow. And it gives you confidence, because you go back in the lab and you're like, mentally, like, it's just like any other sport. You got high-end tools, this thing flicks water, it makes you faster. It's in the end, I mean, it just makes you confident and want to learn more. It just gives you a little boost of like, man, there's like possibilities. I could maybe become a little bit better in the future. Now I got the things, I don't have an excuse, and it put me to work. And but again, I think that you got to start off with the regular brushes that, you can't always have fancy ones. I think you still got to learn just using any brush, whatever you got at the end. But something like that just really helps a kid that is growing up in this industry. It really helped me.
That's amazing. And but you're not only with the brushes and everything, you're also into technology, which we were talking about recently, but also you are, you mentioned something about building something and posting that on YouTube. Tell me a little bit about that, because that sounds very exciting.
Oh yeah, I was talking to you. I got so many projects. Those are projects too that I got to do. Just right now with the whole New Year, Christmas, I haven't been able to do it. But so again, remember, I come from nothing. So even now, just because I may have the money or the opportunity to buy something, and I don't, if I can build it, before I was building things, man. I was building just my own palettes. I was building my own little something with glass, or my own spatulas out of old zirconium. So I was showing everybody I've been purchasing, I'm in the 3D printing, but my curing lights are just dying like crazy. And I started like rebuilding them and breaking them up and trying to learn them. And so I started learning of what's in the components. And so I started like just buying stuff on Amazon, and I built two of them already, two curing light units. So I'm going to show people how to do it. And they're about maybe 50 I'll post the links up so people can have the exact items. But it cost me like $50-$60 to build these things, and I was paying $500 for them. So they're curing my models exactly. I looked at the lighting; it's the exact same lighting that they're putting in these systems, and everything's going good. I'm kind of working on the curing times and stuff, but it's just little stuff that people can do at home. Not everybody has the opportunity to buy everything, and so things like that I'm going to start doing is just teaching people how I got through. Sometimes people say it's I guess they look down onto it, but remember, not everybody has the opportunity to buy everything. So if I can help anybody get into this industry at a cheaper price, let's do it. So I'll get that done here soon as well. There's other projects that I have too. Again, it's just time. It's like I apologize too, because I know I posted that maybe a month ago. So once I can get that going, I'll get it up.
That's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing those videos, and we have a collaboration pending as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because we have a collaboration with Elite Dental Laboratory, or Elite Dental Studios, excuse me, and Mr. Edgar Munoz. Edgar, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. I'm always inspired by hearing your story, hearing how you continue to push forward and have a hunger to learn. And it's very inspiring to me. I'm not a dental technician, but it's very inspiring. And I look forward to seeing you in Chicago, brother.
Yeah, and we'll be there. Everybody, I'll post our schedule and also my colleagues' schedules. There's going to be a lot of us, our Nortucket guys, Sean Pond, Sean Park, Gene, Chia, and then there's going to be a couple more guys that are coming as well. I'll be there. I haven't looked at the schedule 100%, but that's kind of what I saw. And then just remember, just go out there and just meet people and learn. Just learn one thing from everybody. We'll show you something and we'll get it going. And again, just go learn, meet people, and have fun. And I'm happy we'll be there.
That's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We will see you next time. Once again, Edgar, thank you for coming on the show. We will see you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, till next time.
I'm out.